Welcome everybody, this is Gold Leader. I'm joined by Patronus, and we are going to fumble our way through the Star Wars collectible card game.
Fumble is right. Neither one of us have ever played before. I honestly have been fearful of this game, given that it has a 50-something page glossary of keywords.
Yeah.
But I am willing to fumble through the introductory version of this game for you guys.
Yeah, so a little history. Star Wars CCG is by and far the most beloved tabletop Star Wars game. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah.
There are thousands of people who have loved this game. Many of the rare cards are crazy expensive, like $200 a pop for certain cards. Some are even more.
Yeah.
I've seen like booster box of the last set, like $900. Like, it's just insane money.
Yeah.
The game, from an aesthetic standpoint, I've always liked the look of it. Like the card frames and everything. Just like the whole design of the way the cards looked and everything. It just looked so appealing. This game came out, though, in the early 90s. And I was a Magic junkie.
Yes, you
when
were.
this game came out. I can tell you that it definitely came out, I want to say probably 97. I might even say on the box when this, because this is, I think, oh no, this is the white border set.
1995
All right,
is the publication date.
95. Okay, so that makes sense. So in 95 is basically, in Magic terms, that's basically when Ice Age came out, Alliances. So this game probably wasn't even that much on my radar, but I do know when it came to the store, I was playing Mirage Block, and this came into the store. So that was probably 96, 97, somewhere around there. I bought a bunch of this game, got all the cards. I was only 15.
That's how math works.
Yeah, I had to think about it for a second.
I know.
And I was only 15. I bought a bunch of it. The cards look cool. We tried to play, like me and some of the Magic guys, but it was a little complicated for my 15-year-old brain, I guess, at the time.
It's fair.
And so
it feels like it might be complicated for my 33-year-old brain right now.
Yeah. I remember I knew how to do the basics, like the whole force pile and everything, which we'll get into. But there were some of the complexities, how to build like competitive decks and that thing that we really kind of dropped the ball on, all the like the little minutia rules. So I'm willing to give it a try. The Players Committee is still making cards for this game, which is nuts.
Yeah.
They made a beginner rule book that's only 3 pages long.
More manageable.
So it seems like it's more manageable, and we're going to use these basic starter decks. They're not even the black border ones, so it's sacrilege. But that's what we're going to play with.
Okay. Let's give it a roll.
And I'm going to play Dark Side, because good is dumb.
Yeah, you always want to play Dark Side. So I'm assuming
that's
it's got a Jedi symbol on the back.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's a Rebel symbol?
And hey, that's a good point. Yeah, so look. The decks actually have different backs based on light side and dark side cards.
Yeah, that makes it
real simple.
Okay.
Your deck has to be 60 cards in this game.
Okay, I guess let's make sure that we got 60.
Yeah, and the reason why, this game's kind of like Harry Potter. Your deck, if you run out of cards, you lose the game. It's that kind of a game. So yeah, let's do a count.
6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 60. It's weird that they're not sleeved. I mean, I'm not saying we need to sleeve them on this right now, but I can't even tell you the last time I played with cards that weren't sleeved. Feels dirty.
Yeah. I mean, so we might be, I don't know, this might be horrible. These cards might be worth money, but I don't actually think they are. So we're just going to YOLO it. No sleeves. It's like we're playing in 1996.
Right? And your evil riffle shuffling?
Oh yeah.
God, it's so dirty.
Feels so good, doesn't it?
Feels so dirty.
Hey, I used to do this with a Black Lotus.
I know. If only you still had that thing.
So, this is really going to be a playthrough video, like us literally learning how to play the game on camera.
I know zero about this game, so this is going to be very clunky. We're going to screw a lot of stuff up.
Yep.
Forewarning.
Yeah. So this is going to be
have
for
lots
that,
of questions.
Yeah, this is not going to be something. This is going to be for those people who are, oh, I want to learn how to play this game. Well, you can learn painfully with us.
Yes, exactly.
And we're just at the point where, with our channel, if we are playing a game, we're going to record it regardless.
Yep.
Whether if it's, there's just no reason not to. Okay. So, you don't have to shuffle crazy because you're going to have to search your deck.
Okay. I mean, I was going to be done now.
Okay, so, basic overview of this bad boy game.
Okay.
So, your 60 card deck represents the amount of force available to you during the game. The basic unit of measurement of the game is 1 force. 1 force equals 1 card.
Okay.
When your opponent runs out of force, you win the game.
Okay.
By controlling locations, you can gradually deplete your opponent's life force. So, this card is a location.
Okay.
So, locations are all the horizontal cards. I think they're the
only horizontal.
Yeah,
okay.
There are a couple locations, but I don't actually know if there are any in this deck that are not horizontal, because there's, I guess, a difference between a system and a site, but they're still both locations. I don't see any systems in this deck.
Okay.
Systems would be like a whole planet, like the Dagobah system.
Okay.
And it would be a vertical card with a picture of a planet on it. So it's
okay.
very distinguishable.
Okay.
It's also the only cards that have these lightsaber symbols on them.
Okay.
So when you play a location, unlike what we're used to, both players can interact with the location. And that's why there's different sides. So if I'm playing this card, I would play it like this, with the lightsaber towards me, the red,
side, yeah.
and light one more to you.
Yep.
And when to start the game, each player searches their deck for one location, and you just deploys it to the field.
Okay.
So you could search your deck for a location and deploy it. Anyone you want.
I mean, I have no idea what's good, so we're just going to take the first one I find.
There you go.
That's what I'm gonna grab.
And actually, I have this one out, so just plopping it out.
He's going to use this one.
Okay. So
that's mine, that's yours.
It says
both in the Death Star. I guess that's appropriate.
It says the more locations that you control, the more force your opponent must lose. Ooh. So yeah, I think this is the force drain mechanic. So when you control a location, your opponent loses force for each one of your lightsabers at the location you control. So if I control this, which I believe just means if you have a guy here,
and I don't,
and you don't,
okay,
you would lose 1 force because there's 1 lightsaber.
And by
here.
losing 1 force, I have to mill 1 card.
You basically, it's I think it's a mill from. Actually, we haven't gotten there yet. I think it's a choice. I think you could discard it from your hand.
Okay.
I think you could choose where the card comes from.
Okay.
Basically. But you lose it permanently. It doesn't come back when you lose that card.
Is there any recurrence from discard in general?
Yes, and we'll explain
so
that.
It's almost like an exile pile when you are losing force.
Yes, we'll explain that. Okay. This is the cool part about this game. Your deck actually operates as a life force. There's like a cycle.
Okay.
And we'll explain that. So, the center area between 2 players is called the table. Wow. This is where all the action takes place.
Okay. This feels like the Expedia Captain Obvious commercials.
So, locations go here. And then it says directly in front of each player is the player's life force, which consists of several pile of cards. At the start of the game, there are very few cards on the table, and many many cards in each player's life force. As the game progresses, the players draw cards and deploy them to the table in an effort to overpower their opponent, take control of locations, and ultimately win the game. So, I'm going to show you, there's a little diagram here, which is actually kind of cool how this works. I'm not going to show it to the camera,
But show it to me.
I'm going to show it to you so you can see how this works. So, there's actually a flow of the force.
Okay.
So, here's the diagram that explains how the flow of the force works.
All right.
So, your reserve deck is like your library. This is your deck of cards. That's the reserve deck pile.
Okay.
It looks like at the start of your turn, you activate your force pile. And your force pile gets activated by the number of lightsabers on the table based on the locations. So if it was the start of my turn, there's 2 red lightsabers, I would take 2 of these cards off the top of my deck, and I'd move those cards to my force pile.
Okay.
Now if I wanted to play a card from my hand or use some kind of ability that requires a force, 1 force equals 1 card, I would take that card from the force pile and move it into my used pile.
Okay.
Okay? And then, I believe at the end of my turn, if I have any cards left in my force, I could actually draw those cards to my hand.
Okay.
And then any cards left in my used pile actually cycle back into the bottom of my deck.
Okay.
Does that part make sense?
I think so. How many cards do you draw per turn? Or do you not draw until you're done activating cards?
You don't. The only cards you can draw are from the force pile, I believe.
Okay. Oh, that's what it looks like from the slow chart.
Yeah, so it looks like you could draw as many as you want from your force pile.
Oh, it doesn't require force to draw a card?
Correct. You just draw. So if you have 10 cards in your force pile, you go, I'll draw 7.
Okay.
The only thing is, when you're drawing cards from your force pile, right, those cards are stuck in your hand, and your deck is your life. Mm-hmm. So you're making your life smaller, kind of like Harry Potter. You're making your life smaller by drawing your cards. So It's kind of like that's the balance, it seems like. Mm-hmm. So it says, since the game revolves around players offensively and defensively manipulating their force, it's represented, it says, I'll just read it exactly. Since the game revolves around players offensively and defensively manipulating the force, understanding how the force is represented and used is extremely important. Your life force is like a flow of energy, and during play, your force cards will circulate through the piles as shown in the diagram. So it says your life force consists of your reserve deck, your force pile, and your used pile.
Okay.
These piles are totally depleted. You lose the game. So those 3 piles are gone. You lose the game. It doesn't matter if you have cards in your hand.
Right. Okay.
Cards in your hand or on the table are considered, or in a lost pile, that's the exile, is not part of your life force.
Okay.
After you played your starting cards and drawn an opening hand, the remainder of your deck becomes your reserve deck. Force pile. It says during the activate phase, you will move some of your cards from your reserve deck to create your force pile. Your force pile represents the amount of force energy that is available to you to use during your turn. For example, during your turn, you decide how much force to use to deploy cards during your deploy phase, and how much to draw during your draw phase, and how much to save for future use. And then, used pile. So, deploying a card to the table often requires you to use force cards from your force pile. So basically, if you're using force from the force, it goes into the used. Mm-hmm. Okay? And the lost pile is where cards are placed face up. It does say that recirculating. Active placing your used pile as a group beneath your reserve deck. So
it just goes on the bottom.
It goes on the bottom.
Yep.
And losing force. Whenever you're required to lose force, you must discard the appropriate number of cards one at a time to your lost pile. You may choose cards to be lost from your hand, the top of your deck, your force pile, or your used pile, or any combination. Okay. So when you take damage, you actually get to control where that happens.
Okay.
And then retrieving force. Whenever you are instructed to retrieve force, move the appropriate number of cards one at a time from the top of your lost pile to the top of your used pile. So it looks like
Oh,
there is a
okay.
way to get cards
From the
that are
lost
lost,
back into your deck.
and they go into the used, so then they'll go on the bottom of your deck.
Right. Okay.
So this whole thing right here, I think this is the most interesting part of the game for me.
I mean, that's
I like this,
unique for sure.
This
I've
whole
not heard of another
like
game that
cycle
does that.
does this.
Yeah, that's definitely unique.
Very cool. So it looks like the game is broken down into phases, and there are 6 of them.
Okay.
So the activate phase is basically where you count the force icons on the table.
Yep.
And you activate that much force.
Okay. And you get credit for them being in play. Period.
It doesn't matter who controls them.
Both sides, right? So
Correct.
You have 2 right now. I have 2 right now.
100%.
Okay.
All right. Control. If you have the total ability of 1 or more from characters or other cards at a location, then you occupy that location.
I don't understand that.
So here's what it's saying, and I know this because this is something I actually remember from the game. So this will show a stormtrooper. So cards have what's called ability. So if you look at this stormtrooper here, there's something called ability.
Oh, okay.
So what this is saying is you have to have a card with at least 1 ability at a location where your opponent does not, to gain control.
Okay, so there are some units that do not have ability as a keyword.
Yes, there must be. Otherwise, why would it?
Right.
Why would it matter? Yeah. Right.
Okay. Guess let's see if I have any.
I actually don't know if. Oh, okay. Here's a perfect example. I have a mining droid. This mining droid has no ability.
Okay.
A lot of my cards in my deck definitely have ability.
Mine do too. I have a mining droid too. So.
Oh, it's neutral.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else has an ability.
Yep. Okay, so it just says if you have total ability of 1 or more from characters or other cards at a location, then you occupy that location. If you occupy a location and your opponent does not, then you also control the location.
Okay, that
so
makes sense.
occupy is being there,
yeah.
Control is being there, and you're not being there.
That makes sense.
At each location, during your control phase, or I'm sorry, at each of location you control during this phase, you may initiate a force drain for an amount equal to the opponent's force icons at that location. So I actually drain you based on your icons, not mine.
Okay.
And your opponents must lose 1 card for each force drained.
Okay.
Your opponent may choose to lose these cards from anywhere.
Right.
Alright, so that was phase 1 was activate force.
Okay.
Phase 2 is this control phase.
Okay.
So we go through that.
Alright.
Phase 3 is deploy. You deploy cards from your hand to the table. You may deploy as many cards as you wish, 1 at a time, provided that you could pay the necessary deploy cost.
Which I'm assuming is that number in the top left corner?
No.
Oh. Okay.
We'll get to that number. That's really weird, because we're used to the numbers being at the top.
Yeah, that's always...
But that's not what that number is. That's actually kind of cool what that number is.
Okay.
So it says... Locations have no deploy cost, so they're free.
Okay.
They're like lands.
Sure.
Characters, vehicles, starships list their deploy costs in a small white box in the lower left corner of the card. So I'm assuming that's the deploy cost. The white, it says a small white box in the lower left-hand corner of the card.
Okay.
So I guess we can see if there's a...
So if there isn't... Oh, that's an effect. Okay, that's not a thing, probably. Okay.
So, let's see. There's a... Yes. So the white box is the deployment cost of a card.
Okay.
And effects probably don't have a deploy cost.
They don't, because there's no boxes at all.
Yeah, so they must be free to play. No force.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
There are lots of things that don't have it, apparently.
Well, it just says in here, it says characters, vehicles, and starships. So
all right.
That's...
There you go.
That's what must be. Use force to pay the cost by moving the necessary number of cards, 1 at a time, from your force pile to your used pile. Then place the deployed cards where you want on the table. Okay. So, I would...
A location.
Or, I think you could do... Like I think like certain guys could probably deploy to a starship or something like that.
Well, it would have to be in play,
Yeah,
right?
if there was a starship in play, I
Yeah,
would assume.
like I don't think you can deploy them to nothing,
No,
right?
correct. They have to go to a
Something.
They have to go to a
yeah.
location or a star. Maybe just the location. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I know none of these decks are fancy, so we probably don't even have starships, to be honest with you. It looks like only characters. So we don't even have vehicles, it looks like.
Yeah.
They probably did that to keep the game simple.
Yeah.
So that's the deploy phase. Oh, it actually says there's a little more to it. It says a player may only deploy characters, vehicles, and starships where they have at least one force icon or presence, total ability of one or more at a location.
So you can't deploy something where you don't already have a guy?
You can't deploy something where you don't have a guy with ability. Which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's saying...
So how are you able to play a guy at a new planet or whatever?
Well, these guys all have ability, so you can.
No, it just said you can't deploy where
It
you
says-
don't already have someone
Yeah,
with
it
an
says
ability.
a player may only deploy characters, vehicles, and starships where they have at least one force icon. So
Okay.
I have a force icon, so you can play it there.
Or
Or presence, total ability of one at one or more locations. So there's probably certain locations where there's lightsabers that are light side locations, and there's no dark side lightsaber there. You know what I'm saying? Like something like this.
So then you would never be able to deploy there?
I wouldn't be able to deploy there unless I had a guy already there with.
And how would you get him there?
I don't know. There might be. I think there are spies. I think you could deploy spies somewhere, and they count.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll find out it doesn't look like it's gonna matter to us because everything in this game is they have lightsabers there.
Okay.
A character whose lore indicates they are a spy. See if I went one sentence further. A character whose lore indicates they are a spy may deploy regardless of presence and force icons. I don't know what presence means though.
Maybe is it another?
Is there presence on this card?
Sorry. I don't see the word presence anywhere.
Okay. Oh, we'll figure it out. Characters may deploy to sites or aboard vehicles and starships. So, there's the other question. If you had a vehicle or a starship in play, you could deploy directly to it.
Okay. And do those things... So, can vehicles move within unique locations and starships move within...
Yeah.
I think
zones,
starships for lack of a better term?
I think, the starships, I think, are only deployed at systems. So, like a planet.
Right, but then could it move to the Death Star?
If the Death Star was in play, yeah.
Okay.
It couldn't go to, like, this location. Like, it couldn't go to the site. Because this is an interior site. And, like, so you'll see some of these cards, they have
it's big enough for a moon.
But this is the Death Star. It's not going to... The starship's not coming to this.
Okay.
Think of this as, like, this is the hangar bay within the Death Star.
Okay.
There isn't a Star Destroyer parking in this hangar bay.
Okay.
Now, the Falcon could definitely probably come here, I would think, because it could park here, I would think. I don't know.
Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet.
All right.
It says, okay, here's your explanation. It says, vehicles may deploy to exterior sites or aboard starships. So, there's site symbols on here.
What's a site symbol?
So, it's really tiny. So, see that looks like a room with a corner?
Yeah.
This means it's an interior site.
Okay.
And see the suns in Tatooine?
Yeah.
That means it's an exterior site. So
Okay,
this counts as
so it's
both
both?
interior and exterior.
Okay.
Okay? And
Alright.
this one
That's interior only.
is interior only.
Does the Death Star icon mean something?
I am
Just that it
I'm
is
sure
the Death
it does.
Star?
Is this...
Like maybe that's the system or something?
Yeah, I don't know what that... We'll find out what it means. We haven't gotten there yet.
All right. Keep going.
It says capital starships may deploy to system locations. So, the large capital ships can only go to the big systems.
Okay.
These are sites.
And they can
smaller.
travel between systems?
Yes.
Okay.
There's actually like a hyperspace lane, essentially.
Okay.
So, like, systems have hyperspace numbers on them.
Okay.
Like, on a track between, like, 1 and, like, 10 or 12.
Okay.
And so, like, when you deploy a system that's, like, at track 5, you deploy it in the middle of the table. And then if you had system that's track 4, it would go to the next, to the front of it.
Okay.
And
Does
then
it
you
say
can
that
travel.
on there somewhere where those
Yeah, it has the
positions are?
Well, the positions are wherever you kind of imagine them on this play space. So, like...
Well, but you have to know what the order is, right? What the sequencing is?
Yeah, it's like 1 through 12 or
right.
whatever.
So is there a number 1 through 12 or a symbol that indicates if it's
yes.
core world, mid rim,
yes.
outer rim?
All the system cards have a number that says where it's at on the hyperspace track. And you just place it on the table.
Okay.
So you just...
Yeah, because I'd assume it can't be the order in which you play things. It has to be...
And these systems kind of are placed, I guess, like, if you have a site that's interior and exterior, I think it gets placed in the middle of the table. Like, in the middle, and then exterior sites, outside sites only get placed around it.
Okay.
That's all I know.
All right.
It says weapons, devices, and effects deploy according to their game text. So if you just read weapons, devices, effects.
Okay.
Alright, the next phase is battle. You may initiate a battle at each location that you and your opponent both occupy. So that's the have to have ability there to even initiate a battle.
Okay.
Battles usually result in one or more players losing characters, vehicles, and/or starships from the location. A severely outmatched player may be required to lose force as well. And that says see more on how the battle resolves.
Okay.
And then there's the fifth phase, which is move.
Okay.
A wide variety of movement is available to characters and vehicles and starships. Land speed, docking bay transit, shuttling, hyperspeed, landing, and taking off are all mutually exclusive. Each card may only use one of these moves once per turn. Transferring, embarking, and disembarking are unlimited and may be performed any number of times.
Okay.
So it looks like there's a specific rule for each one of those keywords.
Yeah, clearly.
And we'll deal with them when they come.
Hence, 50-page glossary.
Correct. Last phase, step 6, draw. You may take any number of cards from your force pile into your hand, one at a time. Once you are done, end your turn by recirculating, place your entire use pile underneath your reserve deck.
Yep.
And your opponent must do the same. Your opponent now begins their turn.
Mm-hmm.
And then... Okay, so there are... Oh, this is nice. There are a bunch of the symbols on the cards on here. I'm not going to go over all of them. We'll go through them as we... Need to. Sadly, I don't see that little Death Star symbol, so I don't know what that necessarily meant. Is that? No, that's an objective symbol. Those are character symbols. Okay. There's a whole thing about how to go through a battle.
Okay.
Oh, location deployment. There are rules.
Of course there are.
Okay, so... Yes, okay, so I was right. So a site like this one that is interior and exterior, that site is deployed in the middle.
Okay.
And then it doesn't matter which way, but it seems like any exterior only sites get all put on the same side of that one. Any interior only sites get put all the same side of this one. So it doesn't matter if it's left or right, it just needs to be uniform.
The same. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it explains that like every site has the interior icon and the exterior icon.
Okay.
And then there's all the different rules for movement. So docking bay, embarking, disembarking, hyperspeed. I think hyperspeed is that hyperspeed track I was talking about, and it basically is just a pilot starship can spend a force to move from one system to another system.
They can do what to do it?
One force.
Okay.
But we don't have any starfighters at our deck, so we could just ignore that
Okay.
for right now.
Sure.
Looks like we're only playing with characters.
Okay. Got cold. Time to put my Snuggie on.
One thing to notice, there are cards with the React ability.
Okay.
It's called React. So this is a special form of deployment or movement granted by cards that say React in their game text. That may occur during your opponent's turn at the normal use of force. A React occurs just after your opponent initiates a battle or a force drain and is initiated by saying React. So it's, I guess, like a
An
POP,
instant,
a
yeah.
player pass opportunity, that something you can do when your opponent initiates a battle or initiates a force drain.
Okay.
And you just have to say, I have a reaction, and then
Okay.
you can play it.
All right.
Reacting to a force drain cancels the force drain if you bring presence to the location.
We got to figure out what this presence is. That's like the third time they've mentioned it.
Yeah,
Haven't
is there
described what it
there was
is.
a rule book, right?
Rules booklet? Guess we can try.
I didn't see presence anywhere in this document, other than mentioning presence. I told you guys we would
Be fumbling.
fumbling. As you learn, Patronus wants to know the answer to everything. Is it in there?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of surprising. If you control one, if you have total ability of one or more from characters or other cards at a location, then you occupy the location. I wonder if it's an icon?
Well, here's a glossary all the way at the end.
Okay.
Presence. Ability of one or higher at a location. Are they kidding?
Nope. Welcome to 1995 game design. So presence means you have to have one ability there.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the difference between presence and occupy?
I have no idea. That's why I'm like, wait.
That makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, hold on. Occupy. That was during...
Occupy. Presence at a location, regardless of whether the opponent has presence at the same location. And presence means you have an ability of one or higher. So there is no difference. Occupy is presence. Presence is ability of one or higher. They really could have probably cut this glossary by at least 30% if they weren't so redundant.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to tell us if we're doing something wrong, but it seems like occupy and presence are the exact same thing.
Yeah.
right.
100%.
All right. So I'm going to explain to you a couple things then.
All right.
So just card anatomy. This looks like these are just faction symbols.
Sure, that makes sense.
And yeah. So it says this right here is an. They call it an icon. So I'm
Clever.
assuming this means it's Imperial.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like there's just a couple basic types.
Yep. Okay.
And there is names for what all those types are in here.
Okay.
Also on a card, obviously you have the name.
Yep.
This is the destiny number. So this is another interesting mechanic. So every card, except for locations, has a destiny number on it.
Okay.
Typically, a destiny card is a card that I think you draw it from the top of your deck when you're instructed to do a destiny draw.
Okay.
And that number is often added to like a combat modifier, or it might say like a save, kind of like when it like do a check.
Okay.
Instead of doing a check, you do a destiny draw where you flip that card. So if I drew this, it would be 0.
Okay.
And then I believe, when we get there, I believe the card goes to a used pile when it's done. It's
Okay.
not lost. Then we also have power,
Yeah.
which I have no clue what it does.
Okay.
Ability.
Right. Which establishes presence.
Yep. And the white number is the deploy cost.
Okay.
The black number is its forfeit.
Is that a fancy word for health?
No. So I think the way forfeit works in this game, when you lose a battle,
Uh-huh.
say you lose a battle by 3.
Okay.
You have to forfeit a total of 3 force points. Sometimes. And so if you forfeit this card from play, it satisfies a forfeit of 2.
Okay.
Instead of just one card.
So you
for
don't
one
deal
force.
damage directly to units. You have to choose what you're sacrificing effectively.
Yeah, you deal. Yeah, you hit your opponent for force.
Right.
Or I think there's also something called attrition, which I don't know what that is yet. We'll get to that. But where you have a forfeit of force that you're dealing with, and this can be used to forfeit more than it's one card forfeiting for 2. See what I'm saying? And then
Sorry. Yawns.
this is where the force rating would go if they had a force rating, but this one doesn't.
Force rating or just force attunement?
It says force
Because
satisfaction. It's very blurry. I have a Darth Vader
I
in
have
my deck.
force attuned on Luke.
Okay. I have Dark Jedi. So
Okay,
it says
so there just must be different types of
force sensitivity.
Okay.
Whatever that means.
All right, so there's different levels apparently.
And then obviously group text.
Right.
And then this is lore. And apparently every card has lore on it, and sometimes lore actually matters. Like where you find the ability of a spy will be in the lore. It said. Like if a guy's a spy, it says it'll say it in his lore.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
But
I mean, I like the idea of having cool flavor text.
yeah, so
that's
like
relevant.
there's literally lore on every card. It says one of countless elite shock troops, totally loyal to the Emperor, unquestionably following orders, willing to sacrifice their lives to accomplish the mission. First strike forces. So just lore on stormtroopers.
Okay.
So yeah, there's lore on everybody.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool that it's like relevant flavor text, but it's a little odd that there's important information that you need to know about the function of a card that's buried in text.
I think that's what it said about. I don't think it's probably buried. It's probably like super
At least
obvious.
bolded or something.
It might be a symbol in the lore. Let's see what Spy says. A character whose lore indicates they are a spy may deploy regardless of their presence. So it must be some kind of symbol. I bet you it's an actual symbol, like a little symbol in the text, which makes it stand out.
Maybe.
There's a good chance, though, with the decks that we're playing, we
That doesn't
don't even
have it.
have spies. That we're playing pretty. Looks like we're playing the Bear Nuts
Yeah.
decks.
All right. Well, that's fine. Keep going.
Okay. I think that's it. I think that's all of the. I think that's everything.
Okay.
So effects work in this game kind of like enchantments. You play them to the
Okay.
table and they stay.
Sure.
Oh, look. So that's a system,
Okay. That makes sense.
and those are.
So it looks like I have a Shistavan Wolfman and Scout is bolded.
Oh.
So I wonder if that's what Spy would look like. Let's see
Often
if
trained
Scout
as a
is
scout.
Let's see if Scout is a thing, a keyword here.
I'm sure it is.
It's not in the glossary.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spy is, but Scout is not.
Yeah, it is bold too.
Yeah.
It says often trained as a scout in Imperial academies. Oh, I wonder if. Wonder what that means. Well, not gonna worry about it.
I was just wondering if that would be kind of what it would
So
look
I guess
like,
the only
but-
thing to really understand is actually how battle works.
Yeah.
And that is where I always found the game to be confusing when I played.
Okay.
Because battle was kind of a... It's a whole page of the
Yeah.
the rule book.
Yeah.
So battle works essentially like this. To initiate a battle, you spend one force. Let your opponent know where you are battling them. Some cards state that they may be played when a battle has been just initiated, or as a react. Some cards are played at this time, however reacts are only allowed for the defender. Okay. So I guess when I initiate a battle, the defender can play a reaction, not the attacker.
Okay. Well, I guess I won't know. I was gonna say, would the attacker be able to respond to the defender
it looks
doing a thing?
It looks like only
No.
the defender can
Okay.
play a react.
Okay.
So the defender,
So there isn't a react to a react.
yeah, it doesn't look like there's a stack or
Okay.
anything like that. It's just, do you have a react, yes or no,
Okay.
and do you want to play it? It says such cards are played at this time, however, only allowed for the defender. See reacts. Since you initiated the battle, the opponent is not allowed the first such. Oh, say since you initiated, the opponent is allowed the first such response, and then players alternate. Okay, so
there is
you
potential.
can. It just they play it, it resolves. Then you could react, it resolves. So you can go first.
Okay.
The defender always gets to go first. First reaction.
Sure. Okay.
So it looks like the battle phase is broken up into 3 segments.
Okay.
So it's a whole phase, but within the phase there are 3 segments.
Sure.
Basically, the weapon segment is first. So during the weapon segment, players take turn firing weapons and using other cards such as interrupts or devices, beginning with the player who initiated the battle, then alternating with the players.
All right.
During the weapon segment, players may play interrupts, perform other type of actions normally. This is not true of the upcoming power and damage segments. So basically, when you come to damage, you can't play. It doesn't look like you can play interrupts.
A reaction or anything. Okay.
At least interrupts, it says. It says players must follow the steps of these segments strictly. The weapon segment ends when both players finish firing weapons and playing other cards. Each weapon describes how it works, including the kinds of cards it may target, the force required to fire it, and the destiny draw required for success. And
Okay.
if successful, the consequences for the target.
Okay.
Generally, a weapon must be present with its target to be fired. For example, a character weapons may not fire into or out of a starship. or a vehicle labeled enclosed. Granular, but makes sense. So if you have Han Solo with a blaster, but he's piloting the Millennium Falcon, if you initiate a battle with with Han piloting the Falcon, he can't just fire his weapon at somebody in outer space.
Unless he was also on the Falcon, if that was possible. Like if
I
you're
don't think
sharing an interior space.
Correct, which I don't think. Yes, exactly. But if he was,
But you can't shoot from.
like if he's in a vehicle that's like enclosed up.
Right, and
He
you are not in that same enclosure.
Yeah. So, like, I'm assuming if he was, like, in a little open cockpit land speeder and he had a blaster, he could fire.
Right.
But if he was in an ATST, he couldn't fire.
Okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
Seems a little obvious, but also granular.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Okay.
I don't think that's ever going to... Again, we have no vehicles in our deck, so let's just skip that for now. It says each weapon may be only fired once per battle. So unless specified.
So just weapons specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Are those actual cards?
Yeah, they're green cards in your deck. So these is a device, but there should be, I'm sure there should be like a blaster pistol or maybe even a lightsaber. Oh, here's a weapon. Character weapon. Gaffy stick.
Okay. Mines. Okay. So characters don't have attacks. You have to have a weapon card.
No, they do. They still can do a thing. They would do in the next segment. So the basically the first segment is if you have a weapon, each character fires their weapon.
Okay.
Then the next segment is power. And that's where that power number apparently comes into play. That's how the character is attacking you.
Okay.
So this is kind of like representing equipment.
Okay.
Except the only difference is the equipment's just not adding to their power. It's a separate attack.
Okay.
Because you have this weapon.
Got it. Okay.
Got it?
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Well, it's interesting because it's deployed to a dude.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so you play the card like an equipment. You play it on a dude.
Right.
And now he has a weapon. So if this guy was fighting, we would go to the weapon segment first. He would. I think he would literally like just mark it that you exhausted your weapon because you fired it, and then we would go to the power segment next, and we would deal with the power.
Okay.
Which is, I guess, a separate part of this phase. I guess what it does is the power segment a weapon segment allows people to get something out of their weapon other than just boosting. Like in modern card games, we just boost your power.
Right, okay.
It says most weapons specify they hit their target when successful. Any hit cards are turned sideways. Oh, okay. So when a character is hit by a weapon, you exhaust the character.
Okay.
So if I damaged your guy, it doesn't prevent the guy from doing anything. It just is a notification that the blaster hit or the weapon hit.
Okay, and supposedly there's some kind of an effect that it tells you what happens when they're hit?
Yep.
Okay.
On the card. So mine says, use 2 force to deploy on any Tusken Raider. May target for free. So apparently I don't have to do anything to target an enemy with this weapon. If a battle has just been initiated, where present, immediately draw 2 destiny. If total destiny is greater than 5, opponent's weapons are knocked away. May not be used for this battle.
Okay.
So if I initiate a battle with this guy, with this gaffy stick, I draw 2 destiny. If the total destiny I draw is greater than 5, I will prevent you from firing your weapon.
Okay.
It exhausts it. Okay?
How do you know the order in which you activate weapons? Like, is there an initiative order?
No, I think it's just whoever initiates the battle gets to go first.
Okay. We'll skip it and go back.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Alright, that is the entire weapon segment.
Okay.
It says, during the weapon segment, players take turns firing weapons and other cards such as interrupts or devices beginning with the player who initiated the battle and then alternating between the players. So there's your answer. Whoever initiates the battle is the person that gets to fire first.
Right, but my follow-up question is, how do you know who's turn it is to be the one to initiate an attack?
You initiate a battle on your turn. So if it's your turn, during your regular turn, there's a battle phase.
Okay.
And it's your turn. You say, it's your option. I'm going to initiate a battle with you. That's one of the phases.
Okay. So in each phase, each player takes a turn within the phase?
So here's this is the phases. There's activate, control,
Right.
deployment, battle,
Yeah.
move, and deploy. So on your turn, you do all of these things. And then on my turn, I do all of these things. Like phases in Magic.
Okay.
So on your turn, if you initiate a battle with me, you would get to activate first during your battle. And then on my turn, if I initiated a battle with you, I would get to activate first.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So then there's the power segment. So step 2 of battle. To determine who wins the battle, add the total power you have participating in the battle. Your opponent does likewise. If the battle is taking place at a system, add the power of each of your piloted starships. If at a site, add the power of each of your piloted vehicles. And each of your character cards except those inside of starships and enclosed vehicles.
So you add everything together and do one power attack effectively?
Exactly. So yeah.
Okay.
So if I had like 4 stormtroopers, we have power 1. I would initiate a battle. I would have 4 power.
Right.
And I'm adding up total. And then
Okay.
if I had any vehicles that have pilots in them, because vehicles can't activate without pilots,
Okay.
I would get the power from that vehicle as well, as
Okay.
long as it's at my site.
Okay.
Same thing in outer space. If I have a starfighter in outer space, but there's no one piloting it, I can't add its power to my battle.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Remember that hit cards still count towards your total power. So
Okay.
if a card is exhausted in the weapon phase, its power still counts.
Okay.
It says often you can increase your total power in a battle by drawing Battle Destiny. Each player who has a combined ability of 4 or more participating in a battle may draw 1 Battle Destiny. Wow. Okay. So, that's interesting. So, if I had a swarm of stormtroopers,
Right.
I would actually, even though I have 4 power, I would not draw Battle Destiny because it's only characters with a power of 4 or more, or ability 4 or more. Ability 4 or more.
Okay. So only like the big named guys will...
It seems that way. It says often your total power in a battle can be increased by drawing a battle. Each player who has a combined... Oh wait, it says each player who has a combined total ability of 4 or more participating in the... Oh, it's
Yeah,
combined
so it
total.
is
So
combined total.
stormtroopers would
Yeah.
add up. Okay.
Yeah.
Combined total ability of 4 or
So
more.
by saying like Battle Destiny, that's draw a card and add the Destiny value to your total.
Yeah, I think they just name it battle because you're drawing the destiny during battle.
Okay.
So that's how they're defining it. And it probably means in a card, it's probably like there are certain cards that'll say draw a destiny, meaning you're drawing it outside of battle or drawing battle. It's just to specify when you're drawing
Like the
it.
phase in which you're drawing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
To meet the 4 ability requirement, you may count the ability of all of your cards in the battle, except for passengers who are inside of starships or enclosed vehicles. Also note that having greater than 4 ability does not entitle you to make an additional Battle Destiny draw. So
You can only do it once.
you can only do it once.
Even if you have 8 or whatever.
Correct.
Yeah. A multiple of 4.
The
you can
player
still
who
only do one.
initiated battle draws their Battle Destiny first, and then the other player does the same. Some cards instruct you to draw additional Battle Destinies, or add additional Destinies to your total power, or to attrition. Don't know what that is.
Okay.
All such Destinies are drawn during the power segment with power first, then battle, and then finally attrition Destinies. This is where the game got confusing for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so your total power is increased by your power destinies and your battle destinies. Okay. If you drew...
So there are power destinies in addition to battle destinies?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm assuming you'd be instructed.
I am assuming it would just be instructed on your thing.
Okay. I don't know why they have to make so many different iterations of the same ability. It just makes it more confusing.
Some cards draw you additional or add to additional destinies to your total power or to attrition. All destinies are drawn during the power segment, with power first, then battle, and then attrition destinies. Your total power is increased by your power destiny and your battle destiny. If you drew any battle destinies, your attrition against your opponent is the total of your battle destinies and attrition destinies. If you did not draw any battle destinies, the attrition against your opponent is 0 and cannot be increased even by attrition destinies. Attrition explained in the damage segment. So apparently there's a thing called attrition, which only matters if you draw a battle destiny, meaning you have ability of 4 or more
at a particular site or location or whatever,
or a card that instructs you to draw a battle destiny.
Okay.
It says the player with the higher total power, including their destiny, so it looks like you add your destiny to your power, wins the battle.
Add which destiny? Because there's apparently
I guess it doesn't
types.
matter which destiny you draw. All of your destiny you draw adds to your total power. Whether it's a battle destiny, attrition destiny, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I guess that's the reason they have it named differently. So any destiny you draw during a battle, during the power segment, adds to your total power, like a total number, a total score.
Okay.
But if you draw a battle destiny, you also have this separate thing called attrition.
Okay.
So there's like two separate things within a battle. There's attrition and then there's power.
Okay.
Attrition you only get if you draw a battle destiny.
Okay.
Power increases for any type of destiny you draw during that segment.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's the damage segment.
Uh-huh.
So in this segment, players typically lose force and or forfeit cards because of 3 factors. A weapon hit, attrition, and battle damage. Forfeit is the act of losing cards from a battle to satisfy those 3 factors. You may only forfeit cards that participated in the battle. When a forfeited card leaves the table, it causes everything on that card to be lost.
So if it had a weapon, it'd be lost.
Correct. Or if they had any effects on it or whatever. Beginning with the player who initiated the battle, players alternate losing force, forfeiting cards to satisfy weapon hits, attrition, and battle damage. Once you have forfeited all your cards that were hit and satisfied all your attrition and battle damage, you may not voluntarily forfeit any additional cards. After both players have forfeited all hit cards and satisfied all attrition and battle damage, the battle ends.
So you have to sacrifice units that are hit with a weapon?
Apparently so. So,
Okay.
but they still count their power to the battle. So it basically happens at the end.
Right.
So that's why they have you exhaust
Tap
it,
it.
so you
Okay.
know. So this is what it says. It says, cards hit during the weapon segment must be forfeited during the damage segment. However, that's the segment we're in. However, this means only that their forfeiture is mandatory, not that they must be forfeited first.
Okay.
So it just means that when
At some
it's
point you
tapped,
have
at
to-
some point at the damage step, you're going to have to forfeit any card that's tapped from a weapon.
But you get its full forfeiture value.
Correct. You would get the 2.
Okay.
Attrition represents inevitable losses in battle that occur regardless of who wins the battle. So attrition is if you get attrition on your opponent, they're going to have to sacrifice something to meet that attrition, and it doesn't matter if you won or lost the battle. Like,
Okay.
and I think winning or losing the battle is just your total power.
Okay.
Is I think how that's working.
Okay.
So it says the attrition against you was calculated during the power segment. This attrition against you requires a mandatory forfeiture of cards from the battle location. If you have no cards left to forfeit, any remaining attrition against you is ignored. So
it doesn't carry over. Okay.
Yeah, so any attrition can only be from units at the
participating in the engagement.
Correct. Not from hand, not from your force pile, nothing.
Right.
This immunity is checked at the beginning of the damage segment and only then. All pilots and passengers share immunity of what? Oh, I apologize. I skipped a sentence. It says if you have no cards to forfeit, any immunity is ignored. Some cards are immune to a certain amount of attrition.
Okay.
This immunity is checked at the beginning of the damage segment. So I guess at the beginning of this damage segment, you check to see if there's any characters who are immune.
Immune meaning they cannot be sacrificed for attrition.
Correct.
Voluntarily.
Okay. So
if they were the only cards or the only units remaining that participated in the engagement, would they then have to be sacrificed?
They're immune. They can't be sacrificed.
Okay. So it's not voluntary. It's just voluntary or involuntary. They cannot be discarded for.
They cannot be discarded.
They cannot be lost for attrition. Okay.
So the only way to kill those characters seems like with the weapon, and that's probably where the weapons come in. So, or a so voluntarily, it doesn't look like you could sack them either.
Yeah, I mean, there's no opportunity to do so that they've described.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would choose to sacrifice
it looks like you
a
could
unit.
sacrifice them for not attrition.
Oh, for damage or something like that.
So the total battle at the total end. So
okay.
So here we go. Unlike weapon hits and attrition, battle damage applies only to the player who lost the battle.
Okay.
The loser's battle damage is equal to the difference between the winner's total power and the loser's total power. Okay. So we both stack our power up based on our draws, our destinies, our everything. If the difference is 4, then I would lose.
Yeah.
And you satisfy battle damage by forfeiting cards from the battle. Unlike weapon hits and attrition, battle damage may also be satisfied by losing force from your hand or your life force.
Okay.
Each card lost satisfies 1 unit of battle damage.
Okay.
You may select which cards to lose from your hand, but if you wish to lose cards from your life, they must come from the top of your forced pile. Oh.
So not your hand.
No, it says you may select which cards to lose from your hand, but if you wish to lose cards from your life force, they must come from the top of your force pile.
Oh, so not your reserve
pile or reserve deck. It says actually all 3.
Okay,
so basically you can discard a card from your hand or any plate.
Yeah, anywhere. You can discard a card from anywhere.
To satisfy your battle damage, you may use any combination of forfeiture and losing force. Okay, so yes, if you have forfeiture, this card would count as, it looks like 2. You could forfeit it for 2 and give less.
Yeah, save a card. Yeah.
It also says it's critical to note that forfeiting a single card satisfies both attrition and battle damage, even if it is hit. So.
Oh, so it counts. So you subtract.
So what they're saying is, if you have a card that's hit, like an exhausted card, the hit doesn't. You could choose the order of your forfeiture. You know that at the end of the battle, that this dude's hit, so he's going to be sacrificed.
Right.
So you could also, if you know you're losing by 2, you could sacrifice this guy, forfeit him for 2 to pay for your losses, because he's going to die anyways because he's hit.
Right, so that's my point, is the amount of damage you have to take, quote unquote, as the loser is
the difference in total power.
The difference in total power minus any attrition.
Correct. Attrition has to happen first.
Right.
It looks like you sacrifice. The attrition has to
because
happen.
you can double dip it almost.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way.
That's what I think I'm reading. It says,
A unit that's sacrificed for attrition can be counted towards a lost.
It says critical to note that forfeiting a single card satisfies both attrition and battle damage, even if it is hit.
Okay.
So, no, what it's saying is, I don't think you can I think you have to deal with attrition, and then you deal with the battle damage. But what it's saying is, a hit unit will count towards attrition or towards battle.
So you can't double dip. Okay.
You can still double dip in the sense that a hit unit is going to die no matter what, and it can
right,
be forfeited to attrition.
It can't count for attrition and damage.
Correct.
It has to count for one or the other. Okay.
That's what it's saying. Okay.
It seemed weird that it would count for both, but that's what it sounded
really
like.
Good.
That's what it sounded like when you were talking. So.
That's all the rules except for unique and restricted.
Okay.
It says the name of a card is preceded by a dot. It indicates it's unique. Although you're free to place more than one unique card in the same title in your deck, you cannot have more than one face-up on the table at any time. If a card has 2 dots or 3 dots, the number of identical cards to the same title can be on the table equal to the number of dots. So there are some cards that you can have 2 of, but not 4 of.
Okay.
I think you can have 4 of any card, but apparently there are some cards you can only have 3, 2, and 1.
All right.
And I guarantee you I know what that's for exactly.
What?
Like the IG-88 cards. There's IG-A, B, C, D.
Oh, okay.
That's the only thing I can think of.
But are there actually 4 versions of IG-88?
Yeah, they're labeled A, B, C, and D.
Really?
Yeah.
They wouldn't just be 88, 89, 90, 91?
Nope. They're IG-88, A, B, C, and D.
That's real dumb. All right, Star Wars, you failed on that one.
Hey, George Lucas. Actually, don't even know if that was... it says, uniqueness also extends to cover personas. For example, Lord Vader, Darth Vader, Lord of the Sith. You can only have one Vader. Doesn't matter how fancy his fucking name is.
Obviously.
It says an interrupt card with 1 dot indicates that players have a unique card with the same name. Only 1 copy of that card. So some interrupts are unique. So if you have an interrupt with a dot on it, you can't play the same interrupt with a dot on it. So if
period? Like once you've played it once, you can't play it again?
So like if this card had a dot on it and was called collaborated damage and it had a dot, it's in play. You cannot play another one with the same name that has a dot. This one doesn't have a dot. So
right. So those things persist. They don't get discarded?
They're enchantments, like I said. The effects, they're like, they just sit and play.
Okay, got it. That makes more sense. All right.
They're not like, they're not like instants or sorceries of magic. They're like enchantments.
Okay, that's fine.
They hang around.
I mean, I think it's...
and the only other thing is, so there are certain cards that don't hang around, apparently. Oh, apparently these don't hang around, all of them. Oh, that makes sense.
Tell you on the card?
Yep.
Okay.
So, it looks like we don't have any that hang around. So, actually, I lied. These are all... Oh, no, we do. So, an effect hangs around.
All right.
Lost Interrupt. What that means is you play it, and then it goes to your lost pile.
Okay.
Exile. And then there's Used Interrupt. Like this. You play it, it would go to your used pile.
Oh, okay.
So some of these effects are lost, used, or hang around.
Okay, got it.
So
I'm assuming it's irrelevant given these decks, but is there a situation in which you might have Anakin and Vader and you can't have both of them in play at once? Kind of like with the trading card game?
I would assume that's a thing.
Yeah. I don't know if it's relevant, but
I would definitely assume that's a thing, but until we
come across it.
Yeah, I don't know if we will. We would have to decide if we liked this game to ever buy Phantom Menace cards.
Yeah. Because
the Phantom Menace cards are all very expensive.
Yeah. Well, and it took you an hour to go through the simplified 3-page rulebook. So.
Well,
there's that.
yeah, it did take it out. All right, you ready to try this game?
Yeah.
Now, we did go through all of that, and I don't know how many cards we start the game with.
That's true. I didn't hear any setup rules in any of that.
In that rule book, maybe it has it. Well, actually, let's see. Oh, here we go. Play starting cards. So, starting effect. Each player searches through their deck for a card labeled starting effect to play it to the table and follow the instructions of the card. This step is optional and may be skipped by new players. We're skipping it.
Yep.
Starting location or objective. Each player searches their deck and puts that into play. We've already done that.
Yep.
Starting interrupt. Each player may search their deck for a starting interrupt. This is optional. Skipped.
Yep.
Shuffle and draw opening hand. Each player shuffles their card deck and then draws up to 8 cards.
Okay.
The remaining cards are the reserve deck. Begin the game.
Draws as in draws in hand.
Hand. Yep, you start
Okay.
with an 8-card hand.
And then this is the reserve.
Yep.
Okay.
I will say, even though we read all of that, and that took a little minute because it's 1995 rules text,
Yeah.
that was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I feel like I have an idea of how to play this game.
We'll find out.
Okay. And the dark side goes first.
Does it? Or are you just making that up?
The dark side player goes first.
Okay.
It plays to be the bad guy.
All right.
All right. I don't know if there's any mulligans, but I'm just going to keep...
Whatever. I mean, we have no idea what's good or what's bad, so just play your cards.
So we start with step 1. Activate. Count your total force icons on the table. So I have 2.
2.
So I get 1, 2.
Yep.
Okay. Control. I have no control. Deploy. So I can deploy a dude. Okay. And we're on the Death Star, right?
Yeah.
Let's deploy a Death Star trooper in Death Star docking bay. So 2. So I take 2 of these, put it into my used pile.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess I'll do the same thing that you're doing, so it's
And
consistent.
then control. So that was
Deploying.
deploy.
Then it's battle.
Then it's battle. Nothing battle. Move. I don't have any force to move anything, so I'm not moving. Draw. I have no cards to take from my force, so I will not be drawing. So
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. So
Step 1 is activate your force. So you have 2 icons.
Okay.
So you get 2 force.
okay.
Okay. And then you can step 2 is control, which is nothing. Step
yeah.
3 is deploy.
Okay. Let's play another location, I guess.
Okay. Is it an exterior or an interior?
It is exterior.
Okay. So I believe this one is an interior. So it would go here. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, it's a Jawa sandcrawler.
Yep.
And is it? It's
a Jawa camp.
So what we want to do is we actually want to make its own pile
Okay.
because they're different
Locations.
sites.
They're set. Okay.
Yeah. So
All right.
okay.
So, okay. And then, so that's free.
Yep. Which is great because it means next turn we get more force.
Yeah. So, that's that. And Just reading what the heck these things do. Okay. Let's... The white number is...
The cost of the card.
All right. Okay, let's spend 1 to deploy a rebel trooper. Because it's
to the
thematic.
Death Star? Okay.
Yeah. Let's just be themey.
Okay.
If we're doing this. And your docking bay transit here requires... Okay, so that's irrelevant. Okay. Okay, never mind. So there's that.
Oh.
And then let's deploy a Talls over here.
Okay. Dolls. Alright. May forfeit in place of any other character hit by a weapon at the same site.
I guess we should put these on the stream.
Restoring a character to normal.
So these are at docking bay 327 of the Death Star.
Huh.
And then
How the hell do you know if it's nighttime or not?
I have no idea. We're not going to worry about it. And then I'm deploying the Talls at the Tatooine Jawa camp here.
Okay.
Okay. And let's do a battle for S&G.
I don't... can you initiate a... Does it cost force to initiate a battle?
I don't remember that. But if it does, that's fine. Then we'll skip it.
To initiate a battle, use 1 force.
Oh, never mind.
So,
all right.
Next turn.
So next turn. All right.
So, oh, we both screwed this up. These go on the bottom of our deck.
I mean, I haven't finished it yet.
Oh,
I haven't finished my
I
turn.
did.
So, no moving, no drawing, and then, yeah, these go on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so it's my turn.
Yes.
First thing to do is activate. I have 3 now, because you played 1.
I did.
Okay. And then... Control. I definitely don't have control.
So, question.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, you know, Death Star, that's a unique thing.
Uh-huh.
But there's multiple
sites
within the Death Star.
Yep.
So I have another one of these in my hand.
Yep. You would put it
Tatooine
here.
is unique, but the camp is not.
Yes.
Right? So I can have multiple camps.
Oh. Good question. So it is unique. You can only have 1 Tatooine Jawa camp.
How do you know?
See that little dot there?
Right, but...
That's the uniqueness.
But look at the Death Star.
Right. So the dot means you can only have 1 card of that name.
Ah, okay.
That's what it means.
Okay. So having another one in my hand is just garbage.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that there would actually be 2 of the exact same card with the same name in a deck. That's a starter deck.
Yeah, there is.
That seems really odd.
Yep, there is.
Okay.
It's okay. Eventually, when I take damage, I'll discard it.
Yeah, let's double check, because that is really oddball. Because I did breeze through the restricted. If the name of the card is preceded by a dot, this indicates that it is a unique card. Although you are free to play more than 1 unique card of the same title in your deck, you cannot have more than 1 face up on the table at any time during the game.
All right.
If the cards have 2 dots or 3 dots, the number of identical cards of the same title can be on the table at the same time. So that's probably where the multiple dots came in. If there was a Jawa camp that had 2 or 3 dots, you could put multiple sites.
Sure. Okay.
Multiple Jawa camps, because it would not be a unique one.
Yeah, like my Talls can have 3 apparently, but only 3.
There you go.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
Alright, so my turn. So Apologize, guys. I'm going back to where the faces are because I definitely don't have them memorized yet. So I activated my force. Control, I have nothing. Deploy. So I'm going to spend 1 force to deploy Stormtrooper.
Okay.
Okay. And I could initiate a battle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's do it just to see how it works.
Yeah.
Alright, so we'll initiate a battle.
Yep. So let's go through those steps again.
Yep.
So I know the weapon was the first, and we don't have any weapons, so we skip that phase.
We skipped the whole weapon phase. Yeah. So now we go to the power segment phase. To determine who wins the battle, add the total power you have participating in the battle.
Okay.
So
you have 3. I have 1.
Okay. So I'm going to win the battle.
Okay.
We skip the whole part of destiny draws.
Why? Because we haven't been instructed to do so?
Because you only draw if you have 4 or more ability total.
Okay.
So I have ability of 2.
3.
3.
Oh, ability 2.
Ability 2.
Oh, okay.
So I can't draw Battle Destiny.
Okay.
You can't draw Battle Destiny.
Right, okay.
Attrition only applies if you draw Battle Destiny.
Okay.
So we skip the whole attrition thing.
Okay.
So there's no attrition.
Okay.
There's no weapon hit because we didn't have weapons.
Right.
So all we're doing now is total power.
Uh-huh.
And I would win that.
Right.
And so then you have to sacrifice the difference of
3 and 1, so 2.
You have to 2. And it can be, since you don't have attrition,
right,
and you don't have a hit, you have no forfeiture.
I can pick anything.
It can be anything.
Yeah.
I think. Let's double check that. So, unlike weapon and hits, battle damage only applies to the player who loses the battle. The loser's battle damage is equal to the difference between the winner's total power and loser's total power. You may satisfy battle damage by forfeiting cards from the battle. Unlike weapons and hits, weapon hits and attrition, battle damage may also be satisfied by force from your hand or life. So you could pitch that card that you can't use, and you can also pitch the top card of your deck.
Okay.
And that goes into a lost pile.
Yep, which is,
okay.
Down here.
So that's it.
Okay.
And then I have 1 card left, and so
you draw it.
I think I'm going to use that to draw a card.
Unless you want to move people around, but
no, I'll stay. I'll draw a card.
Okay.
And I'm done.
All right.
So this
goes on the bottom.
Here, and now you get to activate 3.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Let's give. So control, right? So I control this one.
Oh yes.
So you lose 1 force.
Yes, I lose 1 force, and I can choose to lose it from anywhere. Interesting. I don't know how this card works, so I'm just going to lose it.
Seems fine.
Okay.
I'm going to give my Talls a Tatooine utility belt. It is a device.
Okay.
Use 1 force to deploy on any rebel or alien, while on Tatooine, that character's power and forfeit are +2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
loading up with Talls.
We're going to give that to the Talls.
Okay.
And let's just be done deploying cards, I think. I'm not going to start a battle because I can guarantee lose this one and we're not engaged here.
Yeah.
I don't really care about... I guess I could just move this guy to a different spot so I don't just auto lose the battle every time.
That's fair.
Right?
And then we would each drain each other for 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'd rather do that than auto lose the battle every time.
Yeah.
Because I can't deploy any other guys.
Yeah.
And then because they're in the same thing, like they're both in the Death Star, I can move them between.
I think you can move them to adjacent sites.
Right?
Okay. Yeah, we laid them adjacent, so yeah.
Okay.
I think that's legitimate.
Okay. So that was move, draw.
Yep.
And put these on the bottom.
And I can just read movement. Um. Yeah, you could definitely move either way because this is a docking bay apparently.
Yeah.
And it says you can movement docking bay. You may rotate any or all of your characters and vehicles as a group from one docking bay to another docking bay. Simply just by moving.
But that's not another docking bay.
Shaft corridors.
Moving characters. Characters can move by themselves from one site to an adjacent site by expending one force. This movement is restricted to once per turn. Any of or all of your characters at a docking bay can transfer. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I would think
Yeah, that makes total
they're
sense.
both on the Death Star, so they can.
Yeah.
They're adjacent to each other. If there was another Tatooine location, I would think it'd be the same thing.
Okay, that makes perfect sense.
We're going to run with that.
So it's my turn?
If we're wrong, everybody can tell us in
Yep.
YouTube comments.
Oh, they're going to laugh at us. Total
Oh,
noobs. All right,
yeah.
so first thing you do is activate 3 force.
Yep.
3 symbols. Okay. Second thing I do is control.
Yep. So you have that one, so I lose 1.
1.
And
You can do it from your hand or...
yeah, I'm just going to do it from my reserve.
Okay. And then the next thing I can do is deploy.
Yep.
So I have an interesting card. And I don't know how it works. I don't want to deploy it, though. I think what I really want is to draw more cards because I want more sites for more
Sure, that makes sense.
resources. But I also don't want you to... So I'm going to do this.
To move 1?
To move 1.
But that's at the end.
Oh, right.
Move is at the end. Or close to the end, at least.
Well, I'm skipping battle. So what's after battle?
So you did...
It's in order, right?
Right, so you did control.
I did control,
then
deploy,
you got to deploy.
which I'm not deploying anything.
Okay.
Then battle, nope. Move.
Okay, so then you're fine. Yeah. So you're moving 1 guy over.
Yep.
Yeah, let's just shift all these things
Okay.
over. It's fine.
We're good. So I think I'm going to move 1 guy over.
Okay.
This is still the Death Star.
Yep.
And then I just want to draw these
those
2 cards, and then I'm done.
And then cycle that 1 card back into your deck.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
My turn.
Yep.
So 3 force.
I definitely can see we're adding in a better starting location. One where you start the game with
2.
or there are some that start with 3.
Yeah.
Because right now with 3 force, it's like
Yeah,
I
you
can't
can't do a
really
lot.
do much.
Yeah. Okay. I am going to.
I'm like fetching my
Yeah.
deck for locations.
Yeah. I'm going to. Deploy. Some mines at my location here. Mining droid. And I'm going to automate a mine.
What the hell? So you play this on me?
Yeah.
Hilarious. Deploy to the opponent's side.
So I played this, and then I'm...
Deploy on opponent's side at the same site as one of your mining droids.
Which I just deployed one.
What the hell? Okay. Explodes at the beginning of your next turn. Draw destiny. The number of opponent's characters are immediately lost. Timer mine is also lost. How do I get rid of it?
You can't. You just move your guy away from there.
Oh, then it blows up?
Yeah, and then it blows up on nobody. But
Hilarious.
then I would control this location.
Yeah.
For a turn.
Hilarious.
I don't know. Whatever. Seems fine.
That seems funny, though.
And...
Well, this card says lay mines, or at any time during your turn, you may use one force to lose any one mine at the same site.
I'm assuming your mines. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's how I do it.
Yeah. Deploy on opponent's side at the same site as one of your mining droids. Explodes at the beginning of your next turn. So this is
my turn.
Yes, yeah.
Because you refers to me, player who controls the card.
Correct, yeah. So it's just gonna explode. Okay.
Yeah. So you can either let your Death Trooper likely go boom boom, or you can just move him on your turn and have nothing happen.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna not battle because I will lose. So I'm gonna just draw this card, and then these go on the bottom.
Okay. All right. So 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I'll lose my Snuggie.
Well.
It's getting in my way.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love it.
What am I doing here? So there's activate force. Can you keep that book over here so I can see it?
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. Alright, so there's activate, there's control. So I control here, so you drain you for 1.
Mm. Oh, I think I actually forgot to drain you for 1 on my turn.
Okay, that's fine. Deploy. Hum diddy dum diddy. This is interesting. So is this a weapon attached to this guy?
It's a device.
Used to deploy on a rebel or alien while on Tatooine. The power and forfeit are +2. So you have a power of 3? Gross. Okay. But you're just sitting there force draining me this whole time. Just kind of annoying. So I'm going to deploy a Tusken Raider.
Sure.
To Tatooine.
Sure.
Cost 2.
Makes sense.
And then, this is a funny card. I don't know how this works. Huh. I guess I can't play this card? But how could I ever play this card?
What is it?
I have a Jawa.
Uh-huh.
It says star. To deploy requires 1 force from each player's force pile. Cannot deploy otherwise. But I thought you put your force pile on the bottom of your deck at the end of your turn.
Yeah.
Do you not do that?
I mean, that was the whole point of the... I guess maybe your force pile, you don't have to. You could choose to not draw the cards and leave those cards in your force pile. But we just have wanted to draw the cards.
Or we've used them.
Or we've used them. Right? I'm assuming
the use pile goes on the bottom.
Right. I'm assuming that's the difference there.
Yep. All right. Way to go. All right. So... Oh. That doesn't work. Okay. I guess I will
Sure.
Have some stormtroopers evade.
Okay.
Alright. And I am... Oh, but then I can't move. And I'm going to lose my guy. Ah, damn it.
That's true.
I'm going to move.
Okay.
So I get blown up. Okay.
All right. So done.
So yeah, so
those go on the bottom
yeah,
of
I have
your
no
deck.
battles. I'm not going to fight you here.
Yeah.
This is going to go here.
Yep.
Bottom of my deck.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
this blows up.
that goes off at the start of the turn, right? I think it's like before I even do anything. I think that's what the card says.
At the beginning of your next turn. So yeah,
Okay.
that's just...
So that just
Kaboom.
goes off and does nothing, but it got me control of this.
Yep. So then
So
you
you-
activate force.
Yes. 1, 2, 3. So
Then
control.
So you
So
got
you
here.
lose 1.
I definitely lose 1. And I think I'm going to lose this Jawa.
Okay. And I suppose I will initiate an attack here.
Okay.
So I have power of 3.
Yeah. And I have power of 1.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to lose.
Yes.
And I'm going to lose 2.
Yes.
I don't want to forfeit that guy. So... I think... For now, I'm just going to lose 2 cards.
Okay. And then I'm just going to... Sorry. I mean, you can't play them right now anyway. We're still stuck on 3 force.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw these.
Lost Darth Vader.
I'm sure there's more than one copy, because I have 2 copies of Luke in my hand, so there's probably more than one copy of Vader.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Wait, he deploys for 1?
No, it's the Battle Destiny. It's
No.
placed for 7.
Oh, that 7 looks like a 1 from up here.
Clearly a 7.
I was going to say, like, what?
No. So it looks like they've... This is a good character, but his Battle Destiny's low.
Yeah.
And this guy looks like a tard,
Yeah.
but his Battle Destiny's high. So it
Sure,
looks
they
like they got a
balanced it out
nice
that
little
way.
balance of... You have to put crap in your deck to get high Battle Destiny.
Right.
But the good stuff has low Battle Destiny.
Right.
Which is probably why... The Stormtrooper seemed pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's why it has a lower Battle Destiny.
I'm just curious to read
It's
what it
interesting.
is.
Interesting way to look at it.
See, that's kind of sad with this, because...
These cards look amazing.
No. I mean, so Vader has to deploy to the Death Star.
Yeah.
Luke has to deploy to Tatooine.
Yeah.
We have no way of making them meet.
Ever?
How are we going to make them meet? We don't have ways of moving them between systems.
If you have a Tatooine docking bay, I could go from this docking bay to that docking bay.
Oh. You don't need a transport to do that?
It says all docking bays have shuttles, and you can just purchase a shuttle
Oh.
for free.
Or if not for free, if it's not your thing, it seems. Okay. All right.
So docking bays are the way to go between sites without a ship.
Okay. Got it.
So.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's my turn. So 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
And I'm gonna throw down another Tusken Raider.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do things right. Control.
Oh, yeah.
1 force.
I'll lose a card.
Deploy. Tusken Raider. And I'm not going to battle.
Okay.
So I'm going to draw.
Okay. Put those on the bottom.
Bottom.
All right. My turn.
Done.
Activate. Control 1.
Yep. Ah.
And I will
So definitely feel like you would definitely want at least a better starting location.
Yeah,
If
because
not
we're
more, because we're
struggling.
just kind of struggling on
Yeah.
resources. We can only
So
play tarts.
I'm going to
Or something
only
that would
draw one card.
So that's just your turn?
Yeah.
So you're not... You didn't... Oh, you drained me. You're
I
not
drained you.
battling. You're not
Correct.
playing anything.
Correct.
You're just leaving 2 force.
Correct.
Okay.
I think that's the trick to being able
Sorcerer's
to play.
ways.
No, I think that's the trick to being able to play cards that are more than 3.
Oh, because they stay in your force pile.
They stay in your force pile.
I'm a dumbass.
Right? I mean, that has to be...
You're so right.
Right?
You've just been using it the whole time.
Well, but you kind of needed to a little bit,
I didn't
but
even realize that.
that has to be the only way to deploy things that cost more than 3 right now.
Yeah. Wow, I feel stupid. Good call. Alright, I got 3. I control you for 1.
Yeah.
Wow, is that dumb?
I mean, that right?
You are 100%
Okay.
right.
I'm assuming that's how that has to work.
Cool. Well, this is awesome.
Okay.
Play 2 here for a 3rd Tusken Raider,
Sure.
and I'll activate a battle.
Okay.
So
So what happens if we tie?
We don't tie. Tusken Raiders. Total power of group of Tusken Raiders depends on how many are present. 1 has a total power of 1. 2 has a total power of 3. 3 has a total power of 6.
Oh my god!
Limit 4 at one site.
Holy
So
cow!
they have 6 power.
They have 6 power right now?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you have 3.
And I have 3, so I have to lose 3.
Yep. It could be from anything.
Okay. Well,
So the Tusken Party came.
I'm gonna lose that because it's a duplicate.
Okay.
I'm gonna lose 2 cards from here.
Yep. Alright. And you're up.
Yeah. Alright. So, 1, 2, 3.
How do you play this game on stream, though?
Right? Like,
Look, we already got a table
we
space.
already have
and,
no
nothing
table
going
space
on.
and nothing's happening. Yeah.
I think you have to just, like...
Stack things up.
Yeah, I think, like, if you had Tuskens, you would have them all in one stack.
Yeah.
We have the space, so I'll leave them spread out, but...
Yeah.
Go Tusken Raiders. Landmine
Okay.
would be terrible.
Yeah.
'Cause
but
I would
don't
have nowhere to
another
move.
one.
I have nowhere to move them.
Right.
So if you play a landmine
Right,
there,
and
that's
draw a lot.
that's where it's good.
Yeah,
You
for
should've
sure.
played it.
Well, I
You didn't know.
mean,
First game.
I was just trying. Oh,
Hey,
control, by
I
the
just
way.
figured out how to skip more than 3/4
Yeah,
turn.
which
So guess who's the real
I think
dummy?
I think we both missed the control step on the last turn.
I did it to you.
Right. Did you? So I did.
You
You
just
did
didn't do
actually?
it to me.
Oh, okay. I was thinking that.
All right, I'm gonna get rid of.
Okay, so I'm gonna use 4 to play Luke, and I have to deploy Luke at Tatooine.
Oh damn! Okay.
Sad thing is, I'm still only 5, even with Luke, because Luke only has only has 2 power. So
Okay. At least we don't have weapons, and we're not like blasting each other.
yeah,
That would suck. And we and we don't, and I don't have any ability though. Do you have ability? You have ability of 4 though, so you are going to be able to draw a battle destiny.
or a battle destiny.
And a
yeah,
battle destiny would force me to lose attrition.
that's true.
You would just have to draw a
But I'd
battle
still
destiny
lose
of 1.
the battle potentially.
Well, you probably draw because
I guess what happens with ties? Because if I draw 1 battle
it's the
destiny,
difference.
we're tied.
We're tied, so no. It would,
But then who wins?
I don't know if anybody wins. It says it says it's just the difference. So
You
win,
just
but
wouldn't worry.
You
it
just wouldn't lose anything.
You wouldn't take any damage or anything. Okay. Well.
But
okay.
the attrition would still, and I would still
Right.
have to
So you still have to
sacrifice
something. Okay. So then I will initiate a battle here.
Okay. Yeah, I can't do anything. And let me see if I have any effects. So I get a react.
Okay.
I don't have any reacts. So yeah.
Okay.
So the first thing we would do is We would do weapons, which we don't
which
have.
we don't have.
We would do power segment. And that's when you draw Battle Destiny if your ability is 4 or higher.
Okay.
Which is higher than 4.
So I draw, and it goes to my used pile after I've done it?
I believe so.
Oh, fudge. 4.
What is it? Oh, man. Okay.
But I don't know if...
So my attrition would be live.
Well, but that's added to my power?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have 5 plus 4 is 9 power, and you have 6. So you'd have to do attrition.
Okay, yeah. So it says if you drew any battle destinies, your attrition against you is the total number of your battle destinies and attrition destinies. So you only drew 1 battle, so my attrition is 1.
Correct.
So I'm gonna have to forfeit
1
no
for attrition.
For attrition,
but
which means it has to be from the battle. So one of these guys has to die.
Okay.
No matter what, from attrition.
Super important.
Okay. And then it says, critical note that forfeiting a single card satisfies both attrition and battle damage. So now battle damage is going to be
3.
4 plus what's your power?
5.
5.
Which
so
is 9.
And
minus 6 is 3.
Is 3. So I would have to do 3. And I'm going to lose this no matter what to attrition.
Do you have to sacrifice a unit for attrition, or can you choose to do force or whatever?
That's the thing with attrition. It has to be a unit.
It has to be
Only battle damage.
Okay.
Can be done from other
Okay.
places.
But didn't we say you can't double dip?
No.
Or is that not a thing?
No, it says critical note: forfeiting a single card satisfies both attrition and battle damage.
Okay.
Even if it's a hit.
Okay.
But it would not do both. You couldn't do. Yeah. It's critical note that forfeiting a single card satisfies both attrition and battle damage.
I think it can just count
even
as
if
both.
It's a hit.
Yeah. I think you can double dip. I think it can count as both.
It's critical note that fortifying a single card
because otherwise, think about it, how hard it is to deploy things. It would be super punishing if you had to lose 1 and still take 3 damage.
Yeah, I don't know. It says a critical note that forfeiting a single card both satisfies both attrition and battle damage, even if the card is
Let's
hit.
Play it as you get to double dip.
That makes sense. You get to double dip in this sense. Okay. So I'm double dipping 1, essentially.
Is his
forfeit is 1.
Correct.
So I'm going to 1 battle damage and attrition is being sacrificed here.
Correct. So then you have 2 damage.
And that I can lose from anywhere.
Correct. Okay. And we said and then we said destinies get put into the used pile after they're drawn?
I believe so. That's a good question.
We're not playing a whole game, by the way.
No, we'll
play a couple more turns.
Yeah, where are we at? 10:30. Yeah, we'll stop soon.
It's a school night, guys.
Yeah. It's got to go to the used pile.
I would think so.
It would be retarded if it was lost.
I would think so. Because then you're punished for triggering destiny.
Yeah, let's put it in the used pile.
Okay.
That makes
if
most
we're wrong,
sense.
we're wrong. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so that all got shuffled in.
And then I pitched my cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn?
Yeah.
So, these were supposed to
go on the bottom.
Go on my deck. All right, so now I get force. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And, man, my whole Tuscan party's going to get wrecked now because of Luke. And that's not a docking bay.
It's not.
So,
Figure something out.
Yeah, so I didn't calculate. I was thinking, well, I want to keep these guys here so I can deploy more guys here and fight.
Right.
But I'm not going to get above ability 4. So what I should have done is I had to sacrifice 2 battle destiny. I should have just let these dudes go.
Oh, and just been done.
And just say, all right, you have control, because now next turn you're going to fight me again.
Right.
I'm
And
gonna
same
have to,
thing.
and the same thing's gonna happen, and I'm just milling cards from here when I should just get rid of this
And
since
just sacrifice it and
because
let
I
it go.
can't move them.
Sure.
All right,
Well,
that's cool. That's
it's fine.
interesting. All right, so geez, I think so. I control for one force, so you just drain one,
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you.
and then I'm just gonna pass
Okay.
my turn.
Are you gonna? So you're gonna leave those in your force pool?
Yes.
Okay. So activate. Control.
Yep. So I lose one. This isn't bad. This isn't bad.
It's okay. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we're
And
beginning.
and it's starter decks.
But I could see where if you knew how to play the rules, there's some
It would go faster, obviously.
faster, and there's definitely some strategy as
I'm sure.
we are
Yeah.
obviously figuring out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'm just going to initiate an attack.
Of course.
Here.
Yeah.
So
I have no effects, no reacts.
draw for my destiny.
Yep.
Which is a 3.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 total
8. Okay.
power.
So my total power now is I have 2
Well, and-
customers.
yeah.
Is 3.
Yeah.
So I'm losing 5.
Correct.
All right. So 1 to attrition
Yep.
and 1 to that. So I have 4 to satisfy.
Correct.
I'll satisfy this other one for 1. So I have 3 to satisfy.
Correct.
And I'll mill 3. Okay.
All right.
But I could see how I could start losing cards.
Yeah.
In these battles, because
Yeah.
now I've got a significant pile in my discard.
Right. Exactly. Okay.
I
and
do like that it's not. It doesn't seem like it's as fast as Harry Potter.
Agreed. I mean, I'm sure it could get. If you had good guys deployed, it could probably go very fast.
Yeah, but it does seem like it's with the force piles.
Yeah.
You have to build to things.
Yeah, and I'm actually just gonna draw these.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you're whooping my ass.
So.
Okay.
I'm done.
All right. So my turn.
Yes.
Activate 3. Okay.
Oh, bottom. Sorry.
And then, man. And I think I'm just gonna pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
So activate. I will. Oh, control 2.
Yep.
I will use 1 to deploy another rebel trooper
Nice.
here.
Yep.
And I'm going to draw these.
Okay. My turn.
Yes.
All right. So activate 3. Deploy Darth Vader.
Sure.
Seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I have a stormtrooper that deploys for free to the same site as one of your Imperials with ability greater than 2.
Sure. Seems fine.
So Vader and a stormtrooper. And then I'll activate a battle.
Yeah.
Here.
Seems fine. Okay. So you have power 5 right now. I have power 2 right now.
And I have
You have to
ability
draw,
6. So I
right?
drew Battle Destiny.
Yep.
Alright. So 3.
Okay.
So you have to at least satisfy 1 attrition because I drew 1 Battle Destiny.
Yeah. And then you have 4, 5, 8, and I had 2, so I have to also do 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that counts as 2.
Yep. And so now you have the same question that I had, which is it worth just sacking those to satisfy your destiny
Right.
and give up this site? Or if you have a good character, you could deploy their next turn to fight Darth Vader, which I
Right.
don't know, that
Which I
sounds
don't.
terrible. So that's
So
where definitely the game seems like it gets better when you get more of the bigger, unique characters to be able to clash with your opponent.
yeah.
Because these chuds, I
Yeah.
mean, like once a big dog comes down, then it's like, oh crap, okay, you're running or you're just sacrificing them.
Right, exactly. So
I'm at least happy that it looks like we're battling. Because when I played this game back in the past,
well, that could also just be because these decks are intended to
do that.
do that a little
Yeah, I don't know.
bit because they're starter decks, although we're not fighting big dude against big dude.
Only because we have no way to get there.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's kind
That's
of
ironic. That's
yeah.
that's one of the downsides to see.
Right. I will just sacrifice this.
Mhm.
So that's 6.
Okay.
So that's
And you're just
more
gonna
enough
keep that guy there.
for right now.
Okay. And then I think I'm just gonna keep my one force.
Okay.
And these go to the.
Oh, that needs to be on the bottom of my deck.
These go here. I'm done.
Okay. Activate.
Like, I wonder how many locations you need to run in your deck. Because between the two of us, we've only played one.
Yeah. And it's pretty brutal. So I'll just deploy a Shistavan Wolfman over here.
Okay.
Power 2, ability 1.
Okay.
I'm done.
Alright. Activate. Oh, I should have lost a card for control.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
Luke.
Fair.
Alright. So, activating 3. I guess there's nothing to deploy, so we'll activate a battle with Vader.
Okay.
So I'll draw a Battle Destiny.
Yeah.
It's 2.
Okay.
So you have to. So my total power is 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay.
That'll sacrifice 2.
So 2. And then
So
he is at power 1, so I have to still. So
you lost
7.
by 6.
Right.
Sacrificing it, so 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're definitely making mistakes because it seems like neither one of us ever want to play effect cards.
Yeah, well, they're all for Luke, and they're all irrelevant when he's
Yeah.
all by himself on a planet.
Right. Alright. So I'm going to just draw. And I'm done.
Okay. I'm just going to draw these.
Okay. Control.
Oh, yeah.
Wonder what a warrior is.
Yeah, I've had a few of those
Have
things
cards
too.
that say warrior?
Yeah, I've had some of that too. I don't know what that means.
Warrior. Attribute test that allows a character to carry and use one character weapon, indicated by a warrior icon on the character card.
Is it maybe this
It
icon
must be that
has the
blue gun
Yeah.
icon. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
Although this thing does not have. Oh, here we go. Yeah, warrior. Oh, this book has all of the questions that we had. Icons, what they all do.
Sure.
Planet, space, mobile, interior, warrior, pilot. But nothing for dark. Don't know light or dark. And I still don't understand nighttime or daytime. That I don't know. I think it's interesting that we don't have any systems.
Yeah.
Like, no Tatooine system.
Right.
But I guess it's because there's no ships in the deck. Okay. So it's my turn?
Yes. That should be at the bottom of your deck, I'm assuming.
Yeah, for sure. That's something to get used to. Alright, so 3?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play another damn location. Tatooine, Junlin. Wait, so this is an indoor-outdoor. What is yours? Just outdoor?
Outdoor.
So I'll put that one there.
Okay. Junlin Weiss, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, turn it around. And then, I mean, I guess I pay 2 to put a blaster on my stormtrooper.
Okay.
And then I initiate a battle.
Before you do that, just so you know, he has an ability.
Uh-huh.
He can move to an adjacent zone as a reaction.
Oh, okay. Oh, so if I do that, he could just pop here, and then I have no force to initiate a battle. Smart. I won't initiate a battle, but I'll deploy my blaster anyways.
Yeah, that's fine.
And
but just, I'm assuming that's how that would work.
100%. I'm done.
So he just like hops between spots.
Yeah. Cool. I'm done.
All right. Activate. I control 1 here.
Yep.
Let's move this Tall's here. Oh, I guess I do that later. I'll deploy another Tall's here. And I will not initiate battles anywhere. I will move this one over here.
Mm-hmm.
And draw.
Okay. Activate. So I got 4 now? Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, joy. Control 1.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I'm going to draw all these cards.
Sure. Go for it. Why not?
It's the best part about this game so far. Done.
Activate 4. I control 2.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get rid of some of these useless cards in my hand.
That's fair.
This one. This one. Okay.
Let's use 2 force to give the Shistavin a blaster rifle. So I use 2 force to deploy it on a warrior, and then I can target. It's a weapon. I can target using 2 force, and then I draw a destiny and things do things. So I'm gonna have that there.
Weapon on weapon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what does your weapon do?
It's similar thing.
Oh, it's like the same thing.
I use may target using 2 force.
Okay.
So I have to spend 2 force just to use it.
Right.
Draw destiny. Character hit. If destiny +1 is greater than ability.
Okay.
Vehicle hit if destiny +1 is greater than maneuver
okay.
or
So it's
armor.
the same thing that I've got. All right.
Yeah.
So I suppose I am done.
Okay. Activate.
Control.
Control 1. This is interior, so this will go
Oh, okay.
here.
Yep.
Okay. And I mean, this seems stupid, but
Oh,
wait, are these things? They're not unique
put them all with Vader because it's free.
because it's free.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then I can spend 1 to move Vader over.
Sure. Yep. Makes sense.
Actually,
I don't know that you want to move them here.
yeah.
With that, when I have
why
a weapon.
have a weapon?
Yeah.
I can move him here and control this.
Yep, that makes more sense.
And then you definitely have enough force to activate.
Well, I don't know that I can activate my weapon when you start battle, can you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Both players have, if they have force, both players can pay to activate their blasters.
Okay.
So let's do that, and then we can go to bed.
Okay.
Let's activate a battle.
Sure.
And then during the weapon segment, players take turns firing their weapons and other cards such as interrupts and devices, beginning with the player who initiated the battle, then alternating between players during the weapon segment. Players may play interrupts and perform other types of actions normally. So, I start.
Yeah.
I will use 2 to activate my weapon.
Yep.
Draw Destiny. 6.
Yeah, you got it.
Character is hit if Destiny +1 is greater than ability. Okay, so I definitely hit.
Yeah.
So your guy just exhausts.
Taps. Yep.
And then this is added to my power.
So then I'm still going to do the same thing.
Yep.
And mine's only 1 because
Okay.
I drew another loot.
So what do you hit on?
It'll hit because it's the same thing. Ability Destiny +1.
So yeah,
and he's
so
ability 1 too.
my Stormtrooper is going to get hit.
Yeah.
Okay. And then now we satisfy
damage of
damage,
things, which
and
you're crushing me on damage because you drew that 6.
right. So 6.
I have 2,
7,
3,
8, 9.
and I have 3, so I have to suffer 6.
But you're also going to have a guarantee attrition, which can count as...
I won't have a guarantee attrition.
Yeah, because you drew a battle destiny. We each have an attrition.
It wasn't a battle destiny, though, technically. It just said draw destiny.
Oh, right.
I don't know if that counts.
Draw destiny.
I don't know if the fact that we're in the battle
It wasn't
phase.
a battle destiny because a battle destiny is only when you have ability 4 or greater.
Okay, right?
So, correct.
I think.
So, I think that's right. So we have no attrition.
Neither of us have attrition,
right.
but we have the weapon damage.
Right, which is these guys are gonna die.
Correct.
So it's definitely worth it for you to sacrifice.
Use it, for sure, 100%. And I think we said the math was 6, because I have 3 and you had 9.
Correct.
So 6, so this is 2. So I still have to satisfy, and these are lost.
Yep.
Right?
Yep, and you have to satisfy 4.
And then I still have to satisfy 4.
From hand or force
so,
or discard.
Yeah, I mean... 1.
And I lose my Stormtrooper because he was hit, and
2.
I lose the weapon because he's attached.
And I'm losing all this damage,
yep.
right? So the Destiny I didn't lose. The Destiny went
to your
there.
used.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh yeah, I don't lose the Destiny. That goes to the used
to your
pile.
used pile.
Which I think I screwed that up earlier.
To put that in there.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
And then I'm just done.
Yeah.
So.
That's fine. And I'm fine with calling it.
Yeah. I mean,
because
we could be playing for a while. We still have quite a bit
we still have a lot of stuff.
But,
so,
I
mean, I get the gist, kind of. It just, obviously, it's a little clunky because we have no idea what the F we're doing. But
I feel like we understood the rules and we were getting them down right.
I think so. People can tell us if we're
Yeah.
being complete idiots in the YouTube comments, and please do, honestly,
Yeah.
because that's helpful to us to know how the heck this game actually works, if we're doing things wrong, if we're interpreting stuff
Stormtroopers
badly.
seem dope when you have Vader. You just
I
play
mean,
3 of them.
yeah, it seems great.
Play them for
It
free.
did feel like I didn't have enough units.
Yeah.
Like, I had grips of cards that weren't,
Units.
that were interrupts or effects that I couldn't use.
Yeah, I think that also just comes from how you build your own decks. These are starter decks. They're probably... I had bulks of units. So.
Yeah, I mean,
there's got to be more in your deck. Look at how many I drew. I think it's just randomness. But... Remember, I also sacrificed...
there were a few that I had to get rid of.
I also sacrificed 3 Tuskens.
Because that guy was in my hand. These mining droids technically aren't units because you have to have the mine to spit out to have an effect.
But they're still a unit. They're
not.
What do you mean?
They're not units. They don't attack. They don't do anything. They have no power. They just drop the mines, which have an effect.
Yeah, they're still a unit. They just don't have power. So they...
I can sacrifice it for whatever, yes. But they don't help me in battle.
Right.
I can sacrifice it for 4, whatever it's called.
Right.
But yeah, they have no...
Yeah, they have 4 forfeit, which is...
Right, thank you, forfeit.
Pretty good.
But other than that...
Look at how many... I actually have a lot. I think I just happen to draw better than you.
Maybe.
I have 18 right there. 19.
So I had 12 between my lost pile and what I had in play. But I had Luke twice.
Right.
And everything else that was milled was because I was taking damage. It wasn't because
Right.
it's not that I had the card, played it, and it died. I did lose a Rebel Trooper and then ended up losing that Shistavin guy. And then I had 1 droid in my hand that wasn't going to do anything. So I had way more... these were all the effects that I had no use for.
There's 24 out of a 60-card deck that are characters, at least in this deck. But I had, honestly, I had seen, 15 of them. So I think that was just a variance.
Maybe. Yeah, it just seems like there's not a ton of units, but maybe it was random.
I think it's just random. What I noticed was these locations were really hard to get. And I definitely felt like there's just so many effects. And maybe it's because I don't know how to timely use the effects, but I felt like
all of those effects were not doing anything.
I wanted characters.
Yeah, I wanted things.
Yeah.
I didn't want effects.
Yeah, we'll learn. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
It was, I will say it was more fun than I thought it was going to be.
That was pretty much the bar I was expecting. But.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. Join us next time when we go a little deeper. And if it's the first time watching, please consider liking and subscribing to us on Twitch and YouTube.
Yep. We stream on... Blah, blah, blah. We live stream on Twitch a couple of times a week.
Yep.
Go ahead and check out our schedule over there. It's just twitch.tv/homebasegames. Jump in the channel. Feel free to interact, and we'll answer questions or do anything like that. But, yeah. This was interesting.
Gold Leader, Patronus, we're signing out. Have a good night.